Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Sala Senkai. That's spelled Senkayy. We're happy to have you join us, and we're excited about our free online virtual QA training. Please read all the material provided on our training page and view all the taped video sessions. Also, visit all the links, as you'll be responsible for this information. This training has a lengthy question and answer section, and all the questions will come from the provided training material. This training relies on the honor system, so please review the material prior to attempting to tackle the questions. Once you score a 90% or above, you'll have the opportunity to provide your contact information. Please ensure that your name is correct because the system will use this information to automatically provide you with an electronic certification of completion. Take a screenshot of this certificate and keep it for your records. All EPA Region 6 employees will need to retake this training every 3 years, as it'll also serve as a refresher. All of the training material will be updated as needed. This session is recorded in November 2020. This online QA training consists of video sessions and other important QA items. For this particular QA video session, I'll provide agency QA resources, including grants and other links. There are other videos like our EPA overview and several Office of Water recordings. We've also provided a regional QA update video and videos on our regional lab quality management plan, or QMP, QA tracking, and our QA FAP. QA FAP stands for Quality Assurance Field Activities Procedure. So let's start with our mission at EPA. Our mission is to protect human health and to safeguard the natural environment, which consists of air, water, and land. Basically, everything upon which life depends. And the EPA does this by enforcing laws that everyone needs to follow in order to protect our natural environment. The laws we follow at EPA are made by Congress. We protect the environment by responding to hurricanes and oil spills, for example. And most of our response is in the form of cleaning up our lands, water, and air. Some things to note about EPA's quality system. The goals of the agency-wide quality system are to ensure that the environmental programs and decisions are supported by data of the type and quality needed and expected for their intended use. You'll hear that throughout this presentation. And that decisions involving environmental technology are supported by appropriate quality assured engineering standards and practices. The benefits of EPA's quality system are successful implementation of the EPA quality system leads to things like scientific data integrity. EPA will produce data of known and documented quality based on sound scientific principles. Reduced or justifiable resource expenditures. Resource expenditures can be reduced if EPA's information needs are more closely matched to the information collection. Through proper planning, Only the correct type, amount, and quality of data will be collected for EPA use. Proper evaluation of internal and external activities. The EPA quality system provides documentation of activities and improved oversight for evaluation purposes. This reduces the potential for waste and abuse. Reliable and defensible decisions. When the quality of data is known, it is possible to determine whether the data can be used for a specific decision. This reduces embarrassing surprises and challenges to regulations, permit, appeals, etc. Burden reduction. As EPA better defines the data needed for a specific application, the burden on other organizations who are required to collect and/or report data to EPA may be reduced. Overall, implementation of the EPA quality system will reduce the agency's vulnerabilities and increase EPA ability to make reliable, cost-effective, and defensible decisions. The EPA quality system covers the collection, evaluation, and use of environmental data by and for the agency, and the design, construction, and operation of environmental technology by the agency. You'll hear more about that throughout this training. As the acting Region 6 Quality Assurance Manager, I'd like to take a minute to provide you with the roles and responsibilities of an EPA Quality Assurance Manager and Quality Management Support personnel. EPA Quality Assurance Managers are tasked with reporting on quality issues to their senior management, providing independent oversight, and assuring the implementation of the organization's quality system. This individual must function independently of direct environmental data generation, model development, or technology development responsibility. The order, which we will look at shortly, also defines the responsibility of the quality assurance manager and other quality management personnel to include facilitating the development and maintaining the organization's quality management plan, representing the organization on matters pertaining to quality management, providing expert assistance to project personnel on quality assurance and quality control issues, developing and implementing a quality assurance training program like this one, reviewing and/or approving quality management documentation, providing quality management support to project personnel overseeing and assessing the organization's quality system. In addition to these general responsibilities, each EPA organization's quality management plan defines specific responsibilities for its quality assurance manager and other quality management personnel. Please visit our frequently asked questions webpage for more. Next, I'd like to go over several important web pages, and their links have been provided as part of this training. First, we're going to look at how EPA manages the quality of its environmental data. Then we'll move on to About EPA's Quality System webpage and agency-wide quality system documents. In addition to current information directives, citizen science for environmental protection, and finally, policy to assure the competency of organizations generating environmental measurement data under agency-funded assistance agreements, better known as FEM competency policy. The first webpage I'd like for us to visit is titled About EPA's Quality System. Again, EPA uses its quality system to manage the quality of its environmental data collection, generation, and use. The primary goal of the quality system is to ensure that our environmental data are of sufficient quantity and quality to support the data's intended use. Under EPA quality system, EPA organizations develop and implement supporting quality systems. Similar specifications may also apply to contractors, grantees, and other recipients of financial assistance from EPA. And we'll talk about financial assistance shortly. The EPA quality system also provides the framework for planning, implementing, documenting, and assessing work performed by the agency, and for carrying out required quality assurance and quality control activities. Oversight for EPA's quality system is designated to the Director of the Enterprise Quality Management Division, or EQMD, within the EPA Office of Mission Support. If you would like to contact anyone within EQMD, there are links on this page. And to get to this page, simply Google about EPA's quality system, or the link has been provided within this training. If you would like to contact any QA staff, click on Contact Us to ask a question, provide feedback, or report a problem. All of our EPA web pages have this Contact Us at the end of the page. Next, we'll go over how EPA manages the quality of its environmental data. Notice there is a link to EPA's quality system that we just went over. On this webpage, you'll find quality regulations, policies, and guidelines, in addition to the agency-wide quality documents webpage that we will review. Also, important quality system contacts, like EPA National Quality System contacts. If you click on that link, you will find the National Quality System contact list. There's also a list for EPA Regional Quality System contacts. There's a Quality Assurance Tools section. Here you'll find tools for projects, tools for organizations and programs, and a quality training link. In addition to more on information quality guidelines and frequently asked questions. If you want to learn more about the regions, you can use this map below to find the regions' specific information about EPA information quality programs. And if you have any questions, all questions are good questions, please do provide them to us. Again, note the contact information at the bottom of all of our EPA pages. And also, there's a Contact Us about managing the quality of environmental information webpage. It lists all the 10 regional quality assurance managers, in addition to information where you can contact someone at headquarters. I'll give you a minute to look at this. You may also visit this on your own time. Next, I'd like to go over the agency-wide Quality System Documents webpage. This webpage has a lot of useful and important information. We will go over each one of these sections, starting with specifications for EPA organizations. Specifications for EPA organizations. Quality specifications for EPA organizations are defined by EPA directives. These are internal policy documents and apply only to EPA organizations. Take a quick look at the below items. Here are several internal EPA directives. You will have a session on EPA QA field activities procedures. So again, this is an internal directive, and it's currently being reviewed by the agency. There's also a section on specifications for non-EPA organizations. Quality specifications for non-EPA organizations are defined in the Code of Federal Regulations. The Office of Environmental Information's Environmental Quality Management Division, EQMD, issues documents to provide information on satisfying the federal regulations for organizations receiving financial assistance from EPA through extramural agreements like contracts, grants, cooperative agreements, and interagency agreements. These documents may be useful by EPA organizations as well. Specifications for non-EPA organizations invoked through individual agreements or the Code of Federal Regulations. The two examples are EPA requirements for quality management plans, also known as QA R-2, and also EPA requirements for quality assurance project plans, also known as QA R-5. Both of these documents are required for everyone outside of EPA using funds to collect environmental information or data. If you are a non-EPA organization, I suggest you become very familiar with these two documents as they are requirements. Next, let's move on to general guidance. So this is the general guidance section. These documents provide guidance to program managers and technical staff. They do not impose legally binding requirements and may not apply to a particular situation based on the circumstances. However, these are very useful general guidance documents. They have things such as guidance for developing quality systems for environmental programs. That's called QA G-1, so guidance stands for G series documents. There's also guidance on assessing quality systems, QA G-3. And there's guidance on systematic planning using the data quality objectives process, that is QA G-4. We also have guidance for quality assurance project plans. That's going to be QA G-5, and that one's very important. We'll go over it at the end of this training session, video session, but it's important because there is a QA-PP checklist at the end of G-5. You can use that. It's not mandatory in my region, but you can use that in any of the regions and work with whoever your EPA contact is to ensure you have all the right elements within your QA-PP. Next, we'll look at current information directives. So the first internal directive I'd like to bring to your attention is titled the EPA QA Field Activities Procedure. So again, this is an internal directive that our region has implemented. One of the things that I've learned about our new QA Field Activities Procedures is that we're now using things like electronic notebooks when we go out in the field. That's very, very new, but the benefit there is that we've reduced paper usage. Another internal directive on the information management page is titled Electronic Signature Procedures. Now, that's another very innovative tool that we found useful within my region, because now that we're sheltering in place and working from home, we've utilized a lot this electronic signature procedure. In fact, our currently developed and approved region QMP was signed off electronically using this very same procedure. And this signage was done by our managers within our region and at headquarters. So all of this helps us reduce our paper usage and comply with the Paperwork Reduction Act. Also in our region, we've done innovative things like our QA tracking tool. We've now implemented different processes to reduce the amount of paper we were once using. Even this training is online. So again, within our region, we're finding more and more ways to reduce paper. And I know that other regions are doing the same. So work with your EPA contact on learning more about Paperwork Reduction Act. Next, let's take a quick look at citizen science for environmental protection. Citizen science covers a suite of innovative tools to enable the public to apply their curiosity and contribute their talents to science and technology. Citizen science can provide information that would not otherwise be available due to time, geographic, or resource constraints. Learn about EPA work in citizen science and environmental citizen science projects. It's important to note that citizen science projects are not receiving EPA funding. So contact your regional EPA contact to note how that region is addressing citizen science projects. Also note from our EPA webpage that we do have quality assurance guidance documents and other links that citizen science project leads can refer to. Next, let's quickly go over the policy to assure the competency of organizations generating environmental measurement data under agency-funded assistance agreements, also known as, for short, FEM competency policy. I'll let you take a few seconds to review this before we move on. But just note that what we're saying here is each organization that receives a certain amount of funding will now need to demonstrate their competency. And you can work with your EPA contact on this. In my region, please talk to the project officer. Please feel free to pause this video at this time if you'd like more time to review this. Let's move on. So we've covered a lot. We've talked about our EPA quality system. Next, let's take a few moments to talk about grantees and funding. In this section, we will discuss the order and implementation of quality assurance requirements for organizations receiving EPA financial assistance. So let's quickly go over EPA Order CIO 2105. There's a lot to this order, and you can take some time to review all of it. However, I'm going to pull out some key sentences just so we're all on the same page. Remember, there will be a question and answer at the end, so please keep some of this information in mind. The order establishes policy and program requirements for the preparation and implementation of organizational or programmatic management systems pertaining to quality and contains the minimum requirements for the mandatory agency-wide quality system. Note that since 1979, agency policy has required participation in an agency-wide quality system by all EPA organizations. That includes office, region, national center, or laboratory, supporting environmental programs, and by non-EPA organizations performing work in behalf of EPA through extramural agreements. The next item I'd like for you to note is It is EPA policy that all environmental programs performed by EPA or directly for EPA through EPA-funded extramural agreements shall be supported by individual quality systems that comply fully with the American National Standard ANSI, ASQC, E4, 1994. Also, under Delegation of Authority, Mandatory Quality Assurance Program, the Office of Environmental Information, or OEI, was the focal point for our quality system. However, that is now shifted to EQMD. Please take some time to review the previous slide in addition to this slide. Again, note that each EPA headquarter office, national program office, region, and components thereof that conduct activities described by ANSI, ASQC, shall develop and implement a quality system that complies with the requirements of this order. A lot of this we have gone through today, and you will hear more of this throughout several of the video sessions. So please take some time to review this document. Again, the link has been provided so that you can go back after you've watched this video and refresh yourself prior to taking the question and answer. I'd like to also just quickly go over the references. Note there are several references here. A says 40 CFR 30, grants and agreements with institutions of higher education, hospitals, and other nonprofit organizations. If you'd also like to know more about state and local assistance, that's going to be 40 CFR 35. About quality assurance, that's going to be 48 CFR 46, and so on and so on. Again, please take some time to review this in greater detail. A lot of what we do in our quality system involves grants. And this webpage is a great webpage that talks about some of the things that need to happen before agencies are provided funding. This is titled Implementation of Quality Assurance Requirements for Organizations Receiving EPA Financial Assistance. It has several sections. We'll go through each. And again, spend some time reviewing this if you need to. The first section is titled Requirement. For projects involving environmental programs, EPA Assistance Agreement recipients must implement or have implemented a quality system conforming to American National Standard. And we've talked about this just now. So the quality management systems for environmental information and technology programs, these requirements with guidance for use. This quality system shall be applied to all environmental programs within the scope of the assistance agreement. Environmental programs include direct measurements or data generation, environmental modeling, compilation of data from literature or electronic media, and data supporting the design, construction, and operation of environmental technology. This requirement is consistent with and for all environmental programs operating under the EPA quality system. Documentation needed for an application. So there are 4 items that we'll quickly go over. 1, all applicants for EPA assistance shall submit a quality management plan prepared in accordance with the specifications provided in EPA requirements or documentation determined by EPA to be equivalent to R2, which describes the quality system implemented by the applicant. So in my region, the only other thing that someone can turn in besides a QMP is a QMP combined with a QAPP, or a quality assurance project plan. Please contact your region and find out what they would advise you submit. The second item on here, the QMP shall be reviewed and approved by the EPA project officer and the EPA quality assurance manager or designee. So in my region, what we've done is all quality management plans go to the quality assurance manager, the Region 6 quality assurance manager. So contact your region to find out how they're doing it within your region. The third item, the assistance agreement, requires the recipient to submit quality assurance project plans, or QAPP, to EPA for review and approval by the EPA project officer and EPA quality assurance manager before undertaking any work involving environmental measurements or data generation. And all QAPPs shall be prepared using the EPA requirements for quality assurance project plans. And again, we reviewed that, and you know where to go to find these requirements. They're on the agency-wide documents webpage. Please note that in my region, all QAPP will go to the project officer. So please work with your EPA contact on that prior to providing these documents. You may find that working with them before saves you a lot of time in submitting and also saves on reviewing and approval times as well. Just work with your EPA contact. The fourth item on here is the approval of the recipient's QMP by the EPA project officer and the EPA quality assurance manager may allow delegation of authority to review and approve QAPP to the recipient based on procedures documented in the QMP. So if you visit our newly approved QMP online, you will note that we do have several programs within our region that have delegation approval authority of their QAPP. Contact me, the acting regional quality assurance manager, if you'd like to learn more about that process. But it is a very lengthy process, and you should have had a quality assurance management plan and your QAPP coming in to our agency for at least 5 years before we would consider giving a delegation approval authority for all QAPP or plans that come from any given agency. And again, work with your EPA contact on that within your region. The next section focuses on agency documentation. So the quality management plan, or QMP, for the EPA organization providing the financial assistance must define the process to be used to ensure that the assistance agreement adequately addresses quality system issues and complies with ASQ ANSI. In addition, the QMP must describe how the EPA organization will conduct oversight of the assistance agreement to assure its implementation as documented. The same QMP must also define the receptive responsibilities of the EPA project officer and the EPA quality assurance manager in reviewing and approving QMPs and QAPPs submitted to EPA project officer for review and approval. Here is the rationale. Please take some time to review this. And here are some references. I'll give you a minute to look at this. So let's move on. I've talked a lot about quality, our quality system, quality management plans, quality assurance project plans. Now, I'd like to take some time to talk about some quality documents. One is the Uniform Federal Policy for Quality Assurance Project Plans, training materials. I've highlighted videos and transcripts, and we'll talk about that in a second. Next, Quality Assurance Project Plan Development Tool. And also Guidance for Quality Assurance Project Plans, or EPA QA G-5. And then Checklist for Reviewing EPA Quality Management Plans. Let's start with the Uniform Federal Policy for Quality Assurance Project Plans, training materials. This webpage is an excellent resource for anyone looking to develop a quality assurance project plan or a QAPP. You will be responsible for the items within this slide and the items on this webpage, especially the videos and transcripts. Please watch all of the videos. Know that there may be several questions in the question and answer section pertaining to these excellent videos. The reason why I've added that to this training is because in the past, when I gave the 3-day training, folks would routinely ask me for examples, real life examples of how scoping meetings occur, what discussions go on during these meetings. So this is an excellent resource for that. There are also reference documents that you will need to review prior to taking the training. I'll give you a few seconds to look this over. The link to the UFAP QAP webpage can also be found on this training webpage. The next resource is the Quality Assurance Project Plan Development Tool. Also, this link has been provided within the training materials. We will go over the modules just so you have an idea of what's in them. Module number 1 has guidance on preparing a quality assurance project plan. Module number 2 has a wonderful template. You can download this template in Word and then start filling in the blanks. If it doesn't work, contact your EPA point of contact and ask them for more information on this. Module number 3 is an example of a QA/PP. Module number 4 provides reference and links. Most of these are on the agency-wide document page, in addition to module number 5 with the standard operating procedures. And then the last module helps with selecting an environmental laboratory. Please visit this webpage for more. And as I mentioned earlier, I'd like to take some time to review the guidance for quality assurance project plans. So at the end of this guidance document, there is a checklist. Please review the entire guidance document and then go to Appendix C to note this checklist. If you can ensure that all of the elements within this checklist are in your QA document, then chances are your QA document is approvable. But again, work with your EPA contact on that. There's also a checklist for reviewing EPA quality management plans. We do have a video session that focuses on our regional quality management plan that has just been approved. But if you'd like to learn more, please click on this checklist and note the elements that are required for a quality management plan. Also, review the entire checklist before you get started. Note that when you get to the end, there is a section that advises whether you're having to fill in items that are related to your agency if you're outside of EPA or EPA's agency. Only fill out what you need to fill out. If you're not part of EPA, then you shouldn't have to fill out all the other stuff that's specific for EPA. This checklist was developed by EQMD for EPA organizations. Again, contact your regional contact point of contact for EPA so that you will know more before getting started. Questions are always welcome. Again, I did provide you with the resources. Note at the end of each one of the web pages, there is a contact us. Click on that and contact us that way. If you'd like to contact me, then here's my information. And I'd like to take this time to thank you for sitting through this session. And remember, you must watch all the other video sessions that are provided on the training page in order to be able to answer the questions at the end of the training. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.